So have you found it challenging at times to being able to adjust to the lockdown by kind of creating a new routine for yourself?
Yes, because, I'd like to go out and get in the car and even going shopping I enjoy because you're meeting people and talking to people. It sounds daft, doesn't it? But, people do talk.
Yeah.
Most people talk on the internet, so they don't actually talk face to face.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice. If I did online shopping, I'd still get the goods.
Yeah.
But quite like that. And then you meet people in the supermarket, and it's lovely because it's socialising. And I can say, well, is that loaf of bread any good, or is this good? It sounds daft, but
yeah,
it does things like that. And then I can't. If I could get in my car, I can then go and get my big mobility scooter out and have it. And also because I live near Conference City Centre, I've got a big mobility scooter, and it's 10 minutes just to get on that into town. So it's not worth driving. And, I miss all that because you're talking to people, aren't you? So if we weren't isolated before, we're more isolated now than before. And this is got 3 weeks of self-isolation. If I'm reclassified as under the shielded, then I don't know whether, I know it's 12 weeks, or whether it's 12 weeks from now, in other words, that makes it 15, or whether it's 9, I don't know. So most people now who are not able-bodied are probably going a bit stir-crazy.
Yeah, a little bit,
They've run out of ideas. Because I've got a lot of hobbies and stuff like that, and I've always kept myself active, that really is my saviour. I think if I listened to the radio all day or watched television and got the bad news, because the media tends to focus on the bad side, that would bring me down. And as soon as I talk to someone, the first thing they mention is not, oh, we've got some wonderful NH workers, blah, blah, blah. They'll say, oh, Boris Johnson's got coronavirus. Well, I know that because I don't hear that 20 times. And if I hear the good news, like, like, for example, I've donated to the Barnyard Kitchen to do meals for the NHS. That really puts me up.
Yeah.
And talking to people does. So, I'm coping quite well, but I have peaked and the other way. So I've got to be very careful the mental illness doesn't creep in.
How has being on lockdown during the coronavirus affected you as you are a disabled, vulnerable person?
Okay, so really going back to, say, Plan A. And part of my Plan A would be to, make sure that, I've got provisions in food, etc., etc. And the way I look at it really is like how I prepare in the winter when you have a really cold winter. So I can't, if it's snowing or it's icy, you can't go out in your wheelchair in your car because it's too dangerous. So if it's a very bad winter, obviously I've got to get food in. So really I've prepared like a winter where, the stocks are in, the freezers are full. But, because I've got diabetes and I control that with my diet, basically stuff like your bread, milk, fruit and veg, it's almost impossible to get. It's not a lot of money, but that's important to balance things up.
Yeah.
So, look, to me it's like I prepare for winter, but it looks like every season is going to be the same. We're in spring now.
Yeah.
And not being able to get out, I could get out, no problem getting out. I could do that now. But because I'm vulnerable, and we've been told to self-isolate, and I do have one of the conditions which is on the list, which is diabetes. But to date, the advice on muscular conditions like Charcot-Marie Tooth is it's not in the shielded category.
Oh, okay.
So basically, I'm no different to anyone else.
Oh, wow.
In terms of provision. But I have all these difficulties. I don't have a support network.
Okay.
Don't have any people helping me. That's partly down to austerity cuts in this country and social care not being there. And partly because the network I normally rely on is friends who are in their 70s. And if you know from day one, they said the groups who should be self-isolating with specific conditions are over 70s. And why should they take a risk to do it? Week 1, you could have perhaps got round that. As soon as lockdown came, everyone was restricted. So they could only go out, say, shopping once, or they could go for exercise. But any other thing in between was questionable. And that basically applies to me, and also elderly neighbours.
Yeah.
So although they're able-bodied, they were still in the same boat with lockdown.
Yeah.
So logistically, it's caused a lot of problems. And of course, on top of that, unexpected problems I've had when my telephone line went down and my mobile went down, and they had to be treated as the highest priority. Because without that communication, I'm lost. If there's an emergency, fire or ambulance, and you haven't got a phone or mobile, you can't call the emergency services.
Yeah.
So it's stretched me mentally.
Okay.
And I've probably planned more in terms of the logistics and the house. So everything in the house is fine. The same, for example, my stair lift is critical to me.
Yeah.
So I made sure that the stair lift company had covered me, and basically stair lift maintenance and the engineers are being called as key workers. Because if the stair lift broke down, we couldn't get upstairs. So it's those key workers that we've decided from day one. So once something goes wrong here with batteries running flat or whatever, and you can imagine people have got certain things that. I'll give you a good example. It's called lifelines. And some people have them at home. And basically, if you have a trip or fall, you press a fob and it rings the local authority. I haven't gone down that route. It's just too expensive. But say the battery in that goes flat, normally you'd get someone to bring one in. But if it goes flat and you haven't got any batteries, you think at home, if you've got your remote for your television and that goes flat, you'll be, well, how do we turn the telly on? So you put that in the context of someone being disabled, it ranks higher. So and of course shopping and trying to get stuff and the online thing has just been an absolute nightmare. In fact, I was talking to a friend of mine this morning who's got a spinal injury, so he's been in a wheelchair since early age. He's in his 60s, and he does a regular test order. It's a nightmare just trying to get the order done. So they haven't even prioritised disabled people.
What would you say has been the hardest part of being on lockdown as a disabled person?
I mean, if you don't get food, that's going to be the hardest part, isn't it? But if I have a trip or a fall, and I can't get, and I'm lying here and I can't get, say, the NHS to come out, because, if it goes critical and the NHS haven't got capacity, then basically I'd still be lying on the floor. So there's that added stress. So I've had to be very careful when I'm transferring onto my wheelchair or using handrails upstairs.
Yeah.
And again, it's a good example. This happened today. I've had 3 calls, intercom calls, and every time you get settled down, then I go upstairs because I do a lot of work upstairs. And then the intercom went, it's Amazon, that big box. But sometimes they can't hear me on the intercom. And I went to grab the phone, and I'll show you. I use this fob here, and I press that, and remotely that unlocks the door. Let themselves in. But I went to get the phone, my legs went. I was sort of stressing myself, you see. So this is it. If I don't get calm, I can do myself more harm. And if I get stressed, I can get, it just takes over. I can get this sheer fatigue, and it just wipes you out.
Oh, goodness.
So it's a balance, which I'm used to in day to day, but this has thrown, I'd say the ball right out the window. It has done for everyone, but yes, for disabled people, completely different ball game, whatever. And I'm trying to be inspirational as well. Yeah. For people to get this back. But that's me as a person, that's not the disability. Disability is always part of me.
Yeah.
Me as a person will always be there.
If you wanted to offer advice to any other person that is labeled as extremely vulnerable or disabled, who's struggling during the coronavirus pandemic, what would you want to offer?
Well, a helping hand if I can. If it's not a helping hand, then I'm always at the phone. If you've got the technology, you can message me. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to take all this on, but I've done that. when this first, and going back to the COVID groups, when the COVID group was just getting, disseminating information, there was something called the Good Neighbourhood, the 5 neighbour principle. So straight away I thought, well, I can manage 5 neighbours, and then I can talk to them on the phone because that's the only form of communication. And I'm happy with that. I can handle that. Obviously, I can't go over and above that, and I can't go out in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then by talking and getting that, you can just see it takes the mind off coronavirus, and it just gets them back to their sort of living levels. Got to be very careful about your people, because if you give them too much information, they won't take it in. So you've got to think exactly what you're saying to them, and that's hard. But because I've got those skills, then and they trust me, of course.
Yeah.
Then I can get away with it. But yeah, information overload. I've been in information overload on a lot of this. There's a lot to take in on top of what I do normally.
I know you told me before. Yeah, I know you told me before. You want to be kind of inspirational to others during this time. Can you tell me a little bit about that again?
Whether it's doing chatting to people or FaceTime or whatever. I think the worst thing is when someone rings you up and then, oh, have you heard this on the news today? And it's all bad news. And have you read the papers? And that gets me down. I'm messaging a very good friend of mine who's been through a cancer of the throat, and I know she's been given the all clear. But we were just messaging about various things and being inspiration. She said, Joe, I can only thank you for getting me through that period.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And that's just through phoning or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just a sideline. That's what I'm like normally.
Mm-hmm.
I can't let people down who I see in that position.